My name is Jess. This is my solo as part of the Young Artists Project. The show is called Passing Through for a number of reasons. I pass through this time and place and body. Everything that is seen here has passed through my hands, my eyes, my mind, my mouth. The work deals with a lot of things, primarily history, land, identity, South Africa, the Afrikaner, concentration camps, gender, power. The piece, The Inconvenience of Shallow Graves, talks quite clearly to the overarching themes that I've mentioned. We have such a contemporary history in South Africa, so much so that I could go to a site that's just over 100 years old and barely scratch into the earth and find remnants of what happened at that site. And so fixed to the central structure of the sculpture are actual objects from a concentration camp site, which is really a metaphor for that contemporary history that I was talking about. It's so new, it's not even buried deeply into the ground, it's just below the surface. The landscapes and pen and ink drawings on the back wall are like a contextual reference of landscapes and things that might have existed in those landscapes. And so there's a pairing of these colorful moments, which ironically are quite small in relation to the actual landscapes that are so vast. So these colorful spaces that represent heritage, monuments, concentration camp sites, beautiful sites, mining sites, they all have somehow impacted on the landscape, and they're paired with a pen and ink drawing which makes reference to something about that landscape, whether it's a blockhouse or a mended dress from a concentration camp, or open hands at Surrender Hill where a whole lot of weapons were surrendered and destroyed, and now not even the grass grows on that site, but effectively the land is marked. So these act as sketches and make reference to places and things that have significance in telling a greater story. And the poetry does a similar thing. The poetry for me is like a way to hold on to memories and experiences by just using a few words. The piece Domkrach as Verdwaalde Liefde is very interesting for me because compositionally it's a 4-part installation, and it's the first time I've been able to see it like this, because it had parts that were still trying to come together. It talks about initially gender, and then I realized it was talking about power through gender. So the power of physical beauty, then the sort of weaponization of the masculine power itself, reproductive power, ownership as power, land as power, bodies as power, and so it was thoughts on power that moved through gender, which I found to be a very, very interesting thing. And I only realized that during the process of making, because I started out with a different idea, which is so often the case when you make sculpture. You get transported during the making process. In my making process, I try and make beautiful things that have some authenticity or tell something or hold something authentic. And I'm so lucky that I've learnt a few skills that allow me to make things, because it's a very empowering thing, being able to make and giving your thoughts weight and shadows. You bring them into existence. Like I said, they pass through my body and they come out of my eyes and my hands, and they exist on their own. I'm so grateful to see the sculptures like this in this space without the distraction of home and studio space and chaos. The gallery really affirms and allows all the work to speak, and it's such a privilege to be given this space, and I'm really grateful to all those involved that have included me and made me part of this project. It's been a really wonderful experience, and I'm really so lucky to put my work in this space and to see the work like this.